Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel, or if you're new here, welcome. My name is Greta and I'm the social media and community manager at Plan, and today I'm going to walk you through how to design your Instagram grid on a desktop. So as you can see, we are on Plan. This is our desktop version of our app, and I absolutely love using the desktop version to plan out all our content and to plan out our grid. It's just so nice seeing it on a bigger screen, and we even have a zoom button here so you can get an even better look at your grid. Now I'm going to walk you through a few of my favorite features that help us design a cohesive Instagram grid. As always, you'll probably hear me say this in every video, but it's so important. We need to start with a strategy. If we want to create a cohesive grid, we need to know where we're going with it. And so strategizing is absolutely essential. We're going to go over to our strategy tool. So this is our strategy tool. It is one of my favorite features on Plan. So as you can see on the left here, it's all about telling your brand story. So you can either use our top themes to do that or create your own. Here you can completely customize your strategy by adding individual tiles. If you'd like to do that, you simply just click Add Custom, put in the name, select the color of your strategy tile. Now I recommend doing your brand colors so that way when you're looking at your grid, it's really easy to know which colors you're going to use for that post, and it just helps it look even more cohesive for you, even though no one will be seeing your strategy tiles. Now let's say you don't even know where to begin with the strategy, which don't worry, we have you covered. You're simply going to click on Content Prompts, and here you'll discover that we have created over 50 strategies for every industry, and we're continuing to add to this all of the time. But you'll most likely be able to find your industry here, and these were all curated specifically for you. Now, as you could probably see from our grid, this account is definitely more of a travel and lifestyle account, so I'm going to go with the travel strategy. From here, you can either completely add the strategy to your grid, or you can simply drag and drop the tiles that are relevant to you in the moment and that you want to use. So I'm just going to give you an example of how I would use these. Let's say you have most of your content planned out, as you can see on the right, but there are a few gaps that you want to fill. We're going to use these strategy tiles as filler to really get an idea of what we're going to be posting and maybe where we're missing content. So let's say I know that I want to publish a post this month about a travel buddy and feature them. I'm going to use this strategy tile as a placeholder so I know where that content is going to go and when it will be posted. Let's say I also want to implement a quote about traveling. I'll slide that here. And now I'm going to add a custom tile to show you how that specifically works. Let's go back to Add Custom. Now let's say I'm creating a travel email newsletter. I'm going to go ahead and name it up here and then select the color of the tile that I want and then hit create. Then with the plus button, I will add it to my strategy, and then I'll simply drag and drop it into the space where I want it to be. Okay, so now you might be wondering, okay, I've scheduled my strategy and I have the strategy tiles there as placeholders. Now how do I utilize them and fill them with content? So I'm going to show you how to do that. So you're going to simply click on the strategy tile that you want to use. From here, you can now import your content, so go ahead and click this plus button. Now let's go ahead and use a template for this because this is a newsletter. So we're going to go into Canva. And here in Canva, I actually have a template that I want to use for this. Now this template is one that we at Plan offer you. We have 30 templates for you to use for the month of March, and they're completely customizable. I'll go ahead and pop the link in the description box in case you want to check them out and start using them. You're going to go to folders, and here I have my template saved. Now you'll have to go in and save your template to a folder, and again, I have a YouTube video showing you how to do this, so I will link it below as well. Okay, so let's say this is the post that we are posting to promote our new travel newsletter. Now, as you can see, this blue is probably going to be pretty cohesive with our feed. It's a lot of light colors and blues, and it's very tropical. But this yellow definitely isn't going to fit in seamlessly, so we're going to change that. This blue is much more on brand. So in Canva, you can actually create your brand colors. You may need a pro account to do this, but I would definitely suggest it because this is another tip that I'll get into a little bit later, but having brand colors makes a huge difference. And let's change the photo because this is a travel newsletter, so we want to show that. Okay, I think this is perfect for our feed. So we're going to go ahead and click publish. And as you can see, we've filled that placeholder with the content you want. And you can still see on the right what strategy this is a part of. So just because it's no longer here, you can still see it here. Let's save it as a draft and see how this will look in the feed. So I actually really love the way this looks, but let's just say that you tried this and the color you chose just doesn't really fit with your feed. All you have to do is click and then click on this magic wand tool. It's going to take you back into Canva, and there you can select a different color and play around with it a little more until it looks perfect on your grid. And one of my favorite things about Plan is the drag and drop feature. So if we see that this template looks a little bit funny where it's at, we can simply drag it around and find a better spot for it. Let's look at a few more ways how we can import our content into the strategy tiles. Let's go to feature a travel buddy. Click the plus button again. And from here, we're now going to go into collections. Now we created our media collections tool to simplify your content. You can keep it all here and organize it. So as you can see, where we have beach content, we have it under this specific folder titled beach. If we want to post color blocking content, we have that all here. These are images from our community that they've created for us, so we have all of those in a folder, and so on and so forth. Now, instead of searching through your laptop for hours, you can have all your content organized here. So if you have a strategy tile that says post about a beach cleanup, you can then come into here, look at your folder that has all your beach photos, and quickly grab a photo and pull it in. But right now, we're looking to feature a friend. Let's go with this photo here, and then simply click add. While we're here, let's touch on another tool that I like to use to help curate our feed. Now this is filters. So this magic wand tool is actually magical because when you use this on a template, it will take you back into Canva to edit. But if you use this on a photo or other media, it turns into an editing tool. From here, you can now completely edit your photo. So we have everything from filters to a crop tool to text design, stickers, frames, overlays. This is a really fun feature to play around with, but I'm just going to show you a little bit of how we use filters. So one way to make your grid look super cohesive is to use the same filter or the same few filters on all your content. So for example, let's say we want to use this filter. It's called Chestnut. You'll simply click here and then you can adjust how strong you want this to be. As you can see, this filter here has more of a cool tone, and I think this works well with our feed because our feed is very bright and airy and a little bit on the cooler side. Now, some people like to just post black and white photos across their grid. Some like to do more of a vintage look. Anyways, just find your style, but just try and stay consistent with the way you're editing your content. That's going to make a huge difference in how your overall feed looks. Let's go ahead and click save. Now, if life got a little bit crazy, which it often does, and you haven't had a chance to create content in a while, but you want to stay consistent, we also offer stock images. So you can simply, again, click Add Media, go into Free Content, and then here you can find a bunch of different content. And I think a lot of people, when they think about stock photos, they think, oh, stock photos will look super obvious and be super off-brand, but actually you'd be surprised at how many gorgeous photos you can find that are really on brand and don't necessarily look like stock photos. For example, I love this one from Pexels, and we already add the image credit for you, so you don't have to worry about that. Let's save this as a draft and see how it looks. Okay, I love this. So a quick tip is just try to really look at your feed and see where you need to adjust. So example, for me, the biggest thing that I see here is we have a lot of people going on. So we're going to want to really rearrange this so we have a good mix of nature and a human element. I'm just going to play around with this real quick to see if I can make this look a little bit more cohesive. Okay, so I'm happy with the way this looks. Now for my last tip, there is no one secret to curating your grid. It's a mix of a lot of different strategies and taking advantage of the different features that's really going to help you create the perfect grid for you and your brand. And one of my biggest tips is to just play around with it. It's not super serious, just get on plan, play around with the colors, the content, and find a style that works for you, and don't get discouraged. I hope these tips were helpful for you, and I'm excited to see all your beautiful feeds. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out at Plann'rs, which is our Instagram handle and our other handles as well. And I'll be over there, so definitely come over. We can keep talking about how to create a cohesive feed, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you. Bye.